Let me hit you with something that might sting a little. You are going to fail. In business, it's not if, it's actually when. But the part that no one tells you, the faster you fail, the faster you win. You want to be a young boss, but your sales are stuck. You're burned out trying to find the right people, and you end up doing all of the work yourself. You're bleeding money, and you're fighting to keep your business afloat. I've been there. I'm Isabelle Guarino, and I've scaled businesses to millions, and I've watched ideas burn to the ground. And I know exactly what it takes to survive and win. This is Young Boss, the podcast that helps you break through the barriers standing between you and the business you deserve, where youth is your power. Today, we're talking about accelerated failure, the messy, uncomfortable, slightly embarrassing kind that actually pushes you closer to success, if you're brave enough to face it head on. I know what you're thinking. Can't I just strategize harder and avoid failure altogether? Cute, but no. You are going to launch the wrong product. You are going to hire the wrong person. You're going to spend $7,000 on ads and get ghosted by your audience. Been there, cried there, learned a lot there. But if you linger too long in the wrong decisions, you're not being loyal, you're being stuck. In this episode, we're breaking down what it really looks like to fail fast and own it with grace and a little grit and make decisions like the boss you say that you want to be. So if you've been dragging your feet on something you already know deep down isn't working, well, it's time to buckle up. Because we're about to run straight into the rain and come out stronger on the other side. Let's go. What if I told you the thing slowing your success isn't failure? It's hesitation. You see, failure isn't the problem, but dragging it out is what actually is. You are going to fail. We've talked about this. You now know this. You're coming to the conclusion that it's going to happen to you. But when you avoid failure, when you avoid just running through that storm and getting to the other side of it, that is actually the biggest problem because you're wasting your time, your client's time, everyone's time, and a lot of money and effort in the whole process. Every business is going to face failure, whether it's a product that flops, a team issue, a missed launch, money spent in the wrong direction. It's going to happen. And so the reality is you have to just move faster. And the faster you move, the quicker you can adjust, learn, and keep momentum alive. There will be products, team members, and clients who fail. It's going to happen, but how you handle it and the faster you move, the easier it actually becomes. Did you know that Harvard Business Review says that 90% of startups fail, but the ones that iterate rapidly are 2 times more likely to succeed in the long run? Failure isn't rare, it's the rule. But startups that move fast and pivot quickly actually double their odds of success. Reed Hastings originally launched Netflix as a DVD rental business. But when he noticed the shift in consumer behavior, he didn't hesitate. He pivoted to streaming before the market was even fully ready. Had Netflix clung to DVDs like Blockbuster, which we've talked about in the past, they would be dead. You know, Hastings ran into the storm and changed the industry. This is where we talk about the water buffalo. I've mentioned this before, and it's one of my favorite analogies. Water buffaloes, when they see a storm coming, they actually run towards the storm to get through it faster. When I heard this, it blew my mind because it really made me start to think about problems and how we deal with them in life and in business. And many times humans, they may see a problem coming and they end up freezing. They just stand there and just wait for the storm to pass. And that's going to take a long time for it to pass you. And each raindrop hurts along the way. And you're just like, it's elongating the issue. Or other people tend to run the other way. They want to flee. Some people do that. Maybe you do that in business. You see a problem coming and you say, I don't know how to handle this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to fire this person. I don't want to shut this down because I put money and time and effort into it. And so you run the other way and pretend it's not happening and try to escape this failure. But a water buffalo, they teach us a lot. They teach us how to run towards the storm because actually they hate water. That's what I've been told. And so they know to get through the issue as fast as possible, to stop the prolonged anxiety, to stop the elongated damage. They run faster towards it because that's how you get through it the fastest. Once I heard this, I was like, oh my goodness. And it just changed the way that I viewed problems, like I said, in life and in business, that when you see something coming, the faster you can go through it, the better it is for everyone. The reality is speed is how we reclaim power. It turns problems into pivots and chaos into clarity, but let's make it real. What does this actually look like in your business? Let's start with one of the hardest areas to act on first, your people. Okay, let's talk about this from that water buffalo perspective. Every founder hits that moment when someone on your team just isn't it anymore. You see the red flags, you feel it in your gut, but what do you actually do about it? Okay, maybe you have a toxic employee. Maybe they gossip, miss deadlines, or they undermine team culture. It's a snake in your grass, and you have been rationalizing, you've been delaying, you've been avoiding because, oh, well, they do this or they do that, or how long would it take me to train someone else for their position? The reality is a snake in your grass is a hit to your culture. And occasionally this person will do something so well that you actually forget that they're a snake and you're like, oh, it's okay. At least they're in my lawn. It always comes back to hurt you. Okay, toxic employees cost businesses an average of $12,000 in lost productivity, turnover, and disengagement every single year. You might think keeping this team member is easier than replacing them. We've all been there, but they are actually going to end up bleeding your money, bleeding your morale, and bleeding your momentum. Okay, Elon Musk is actually known for quick, unapologetic firings at Tesla and SpaceX. And I'm not saying you need to be like him, but he's even said that holding on to the wrong people too long is one of the biggest mistakes and risks to innovation. You don't need to fire like him. You don't need to be like him. You do need to lead like someone who has values in forward motion. So when it comes to employees, you always have those three choices. A, we can wait for the rain to hit. You sit there, you do nothing, you hope that they quit, you hope that they turn in their paperwork and say, I'm out of here. You know they're unhappy, and if you just keep things as is, okay, they'll eventually quit. We've all been there. B, you say, I'm going to avoid this. You try to reassign the position. You try to promote them, maybe put them somewhere else. You're stalling. You're avoiding the hard decisions. The reality is sometimes when you try to find another position that maybe doesn't impact others so that they're not a culture hit, you're actually just elongating their timeline being in your business and ruining everything that's going on internally. Or C, you do like the water buffaloes do, and you run into the rain. You have the honest, direct conversation and you let them go. You let them know about their impact on others. You don't say, oh, it's because you missed this deadline or this or that. If those are the reasons, add them in. But really, that lack of accountability, that's what pushed you over the edge. It was them being a hit to your culture. It was them negatively impacting other people in the business. They should know that. You should be honest, because firing fast isn't cruel. It's clarity. It's how you protect your culture, and it's how you move forward with integrity. Hey, it's Isabelle from Young Boss, and if you are struggling in your business and want to talk to a consultant who's been there, done that, listen, I'm your girl. I've got consultations available right here in the show notes or on our website at theyoungbosspodcast.com. Go check it out and schedule a call so we can connect on how to improve your business, enhance your team, even scale. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here to help you with it. Go schedule, and I look forward to talking to you. Now, back to the show. But what about when the failure isn't a person? What about when it's a product that you've poured your heart into? Let's talk about that next, because product failures just suck, right? You've dreamed it up, you've built it out, you've launched it into the world, and then crickets. Or worse, complaints, refunds. You know, every founder has had at least one product, if not many, 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 that just didn't hit. And the question is, how do you respond when your baby bombs? Okay, let's set the stage. You have launched a new product, and after a year of work, you've really only faced refunds, complaints, and bad feedback. You were so excited, but all the people buying, they're just not seeing it in the way that you saw it, and it's turning out to be a flop. You know, only 5% of product launches succeed long-term. Harvard Business School reported that, and 95% of launches don't actually last. So the question isn't, did it flop? It's how fast can you respond? Instagram started as a bloated check-in app called Bourbon, and users hated the complexity. The founders scrapped it and focused on one feature, photo sharing. That pivot Now 1 billion users, okay? They killed what didn't work and doubled down on what did. That's running into the rain. So choice A, you've got a product, it's not working. Do you wait for the rain? You keep pushing, you ignore the feedback, you hope that they eventually get it. Maybe you're too soon to market. That's what you keep telling yourself and your team, and you're just blowing money, time, and energy. You know it's a good thing, so you keep pushing it as is. They just don't see the vision. That's a choice. I'm not saying it's the best one. But choice B is to run away, is to avoid, maybe lie, maybe blame the team, make promises that you don't actually intend to keep. And you start selling them on coming soon, even though you have no intentions of dumping more money into it. And so you end up blaming the build-out team. Again, it's an option. Or C, we be like the water buffalo and run into the rain, right? You own it. You refund the clients. You rebuild from the feedback. What did they like? You can even host a State of the Union meeting, offering them a discount for version 2. And you hope that through this honesty, through their, intentional feedback, that they will actually take a second chance on you. The reality is letting go of a product is like letting go of an identity. It's also how you build something to become better. Because in leadership, the real flex isn't perfection, it's pace. So let's close out with why speed isn't just helpful, it's essential. Speed is the secret weapon that no one's talking about. It's not about being reckless, okay? It's about being decisive. And in leadership, speed creates clarity, control, and momentum. Speed actually gives you back control. Many people think, when you're running so fast, you don't have any control, but that's actually not true at all. The faster you're going, implementing those things along the way, saying, they didn't like this, let's change it. This was the wrong, price point, let's move this. That actually creates the momentum when you are doing all of these actions based on the feedback, based on what the clients are saying. Delaying decisions only creates stress and spirals. And I don't know if you are a young boss like me, but I am all about momentum and action. When something doesn't work, I want to know, why is it not working? What can we do to make it better? I don't want to just keep going in this downward trend. That doesn't feel fun, to wake up every single day and go to work and things are failing. Don't you want to push things forward? Failing fast gets you back in the driver's seat. And it's time to run into the rain. High-performing CEOs make decisions 12 times faster with 65% less information than average executives. That is pretty crazy. Many times you just have to trust your head and your heart and know that they're in alignment. Don't wait for perfect. Okay, CEOs who know what they're doing, they move fast, they test, they adapt. Jeff Bezos talks about type 1 versus type 2 decisions. Most are reversible, so don't overthink, just make that call. Speed doesn't mean sloppy. It actually means confident iteration, because business is a game of choices at the end of the day. And as a CEO, as a founder, as a business owner, you are going to make choice after choice after choice. And the reality is none of them are going to be perfect, but action beats stagnation every single time. Companies that do not take action, that they just stay the same, they inevitably always fail. And if they haven't failed yet, they will. It's just it's a matter of time. So I don't want you to fail. I want you to work today, tomorrow, in 10 years, and 20 years. And so you have to take this lesson very seriously. And I want to be honest, it doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always sound good. And it doesn't always turn out the way that you want. But each decision that you make is going to take you down a different path one way or the other. Speed doesn't mean chaos. It means courage, the courage to act, to adjust, to keep momentum alive. And that, young boss, is how you build staying power. And I got to be real with you. Your team is going to respect you a whole lot more when you can come to a meeting, come to a gathering, and basically say, that flopped, but what can we do to make it better? I'm hearing that everyone wants XYZ thing. Your team is going to say, wow, they're willing to be wrong. They're willing to make mistakes. That's huge. But they're not just sitting in that failure. They're moving. And that's how you show your team how you actually want things done, even when you're not there. So that when they hit a bump, when they hit a failure, they don't just stop and sit in that and say, life's so hard. This is so difficult. No. The longer you stay down, the harder it is to get back up. But getting up fast, that is the move. Fail fast, learn faster, make the hard choices, and stay in motion. Choices are a beautiful thing. And when you get hit and stay down, the longer you stay down, it's harder to get back up. So get back up, okay? What choice have you been avoiding? This week, run into the rain. Let's go. Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. And remember, your youth is your power.